This is a 3-minute video to show you some of the situations that I think the City Council is going to be facing. In the first week, we can basically have no change. We can pass on surpluses. And one way of doing that is that we just barely cover the $122,000 deficit in police and fire, in which case the percentages of the budget would remain more or less the same. In other words, econ development would have 2%, 19, 24, and 46%. Essentially, that would leave some surpluses that we would pass on to the next layer of government. There's a situation B that I'm proposing. I'm making a couple of assumptions here. We can attract and maintain our population if we increase level of services. So what I'm going to suggest is that somehow we go ahead and spend our way into improving the quality of the public transportation. Secondly, we know that repairs are going to be needed because we just had a bad winter. So we need to reflect that in our budget requests. So I'm hoping that Community Services will be asking for more money so that we can improve our infrastructure. We know that a major employer is coming, so that means we're going to need some more housing, possibly more fire, health, and law enforcement. And the city mandates more teachers. So we think we have these surpluses, but my assumption is that we choose to spend now. Okay, that's the assumption I'm making here. If you join me in this quest, we choose to spend now rather than do nothing and pass on surpluses. Let's spend those surpluses now, invest in our quality of life so that when these changes hit us, we're ready. And we choose to release funds. As city council person, I don't want to micromanage down to departments saying you have to spend so much on law enforcement and so much on infrastructure and so much on, what's the third thing? So much on infrastructure. When you look at the community services, you might say, oh, well, we have to have this much in public transportation. Well, it turns out that I see stuff because I'm on the education committee, right? This is what the education committee sees. We have this tab for education, the what ifs. You change these little numbers and the budget in the side changes numbers, okay? So I'm also on the city council, so I see those numbers as well. Just wanted to show you what I'm seeing. Let's look at the current funding levels. Okay, we've got number of teachers, 277, and in high schools, 252. Our levels of infrastructure at 4, and the quality of education is at 4, so it's all in the center there. And what do we have as far as a surplus or whatever? Well, the allocated funds are, we got, if we leave everything like that, it's a nice number. We've got about 3 million extra, okay? It's around 3 million. We could pass that on, or we could go ahead and do some what ifs. And here's one what if that I did. I said, okay, why don't we increase the number of teachers to 300 and high school teachers to 290? And this is the number that I came up with. We got into a deficit. I was spending 32 million. So I decided to back it off a little bit. When I backed it off to 290 elementary school teachers and 265 high school teachers, I basically used, what we were doing was adding about 13 teachers to both levels. If you look, the professional development quality remains at 4, However, I increased the quality of the buildings, and those are the increases there. And so what happened to our budget, right? That's what we want to know. Well, it turns out our budget comes in with a $600,000 surplus. In other words, I took I've spent about $2.5 million by increasing the number of teachers. I mean, this is the proposal. This level of discussion really has to happen at the education level. But I'm wanting to show the city council, as well as everyone in our city, the kind of decisions that we in the education department can make. I think it's worth talking about. Do you want our quality of education to go up, or do we build up the quality of infrastructure? I'm not sure. And so I'm going to be asking the city council to increase our money as much as possible so that the next round, next year, we might be able to invest more in the quality of education as well. So I'm open to discussion with my people, Alex and Steve. My name's Mac. I haven't shown this to them yet, but maybe they have some suggestions on whether we should increase the quality of education first and do the buildings later. Okay. But I did want to show the other people in our community the kind of decisions that we can make. And I'm going to assume that behind the numbers that, just the percentage, I mean, all you get to see really is that 46% is being spent on education, or 24% is being spent on social services, right? You don't really get to see how that money is being spent. And so by showing you the choices that the education department has, we get to decide how many teachers to employ. We get to decide the level of infrastructure. And we're also deciding how much professional development we're going to put in. The state mandate has taken away a lot of our flexibility, because just by adding some school teachers here and a little bit of quality of the infrastructure, we've used up about $2 million. Now we could go in and tweak those numbers and maybe use up another $400,000 possibly. But I think that would be nice. With this transparency, I think, is important. And I invite people who are not in the education department to give us feedback. Do you think the quality of education might be important to increase at this time, or should we wait a year and use the part of our surplus next year? Thank you for your time. Oh, yeah, you guys need to know how to reach me. That'd be a good thing to do. So write to me at EDDSteve, or you can go to stevemathteacher@gmail.com. And I also have a phone number, 646-8246. Go ahead and contact me. Thank you.